This is a ball of wool and llama roving I bought years and years ago when I was at a fiber retreat. It's really wonderful stuff. I'm going to rainbow dye the roving, and I'm going to do it with Koolaid. I've unwound the roving and put it in a bowl of vinegar water. Here's the roving that's been soaking. I'm going to take it out of the vinegar water and squeeze it fairly dry. If you plan on doing more dyeing, you can save the water and just add a little bit more vinegar. I've covered my table with the towel, and I have 2 sheets of heavy-duty plastic laid down. Now I'm going to serpentine my roving. You don't have to serpentine it. You can coil it. You can do anything you want. I'm going to serpentine it, leaving a little bit at each end. This is probably about 4 or 5 ounces of fiber. You can see I didn't quite wring that out enough. Now I'm going to move it a little bit closer. I want them touching, or fairly close. So when I pour the dye on, it's going to run together a little bit. I'm mixing my Koolaid to dye with. I'm using 2 packages to 2/3 of a cup of vinegar. This will give me a fairly bright color. You could use 3 packages if you wanted to. The last one I'm using is ice blue, which you can't get anymore, I don't think. And this is more of a pastel blue. By using the straight vinegar, you get brighter, stronger colors than if you use vinegar and water. Some of the Koolaid has citric acid in it, and you don't even have to use vinegar. But again, I like the brighter, sharper colors that I get with the vinegar. I'm going to rinse that off before I stir the grape. I've got cherry, grape, and ice blue. Now I'm going to go over and apply it to my roving. I've got a very large syringe. This one you can get them at veterinary supply. It doesn't have a needle, it's just a syringe. I'm going to fill it. Let's start with grape. And I'm just going to squirt it on. You don't want to get too much. You don't want the fiber to be soggy, or it will turn muddy. I'm kind of doing stripes. You don't have to have any particular pattern. This almost smells like Koolaid. You can use your fingers, although I recommend wearing gloves because your hands will be lovely Koolaid color. You want to soak it through all layers of the fiber, but you don't want puddles. This is old Koolaid and it looks kind of brown. I hope it's alright. Now I'm not even going to clean this out because I'm mixing and matching. I'm going to apply some cherry. Again, I want some of the white to show. I like to do the dyeing and have some of the white roving. You don't have to have the syringe. You can just pour the colors on if you want. Again, kind of tap it. Let's try some blue. I've got this laid on the heavy plastic because I'm going to roll it up and microwave when I'm all finished. This is very scientific, as you can tell. think I need a little more red. I'm going to run the red over a little bit into the blue and the purple. Again, you can use other colors. I don't want to get too many because then they tend to get muddy. Again, lovely fingers. Now you can see this is starting to get pretty wet. So I don't want to get a lot more on. I'll probably put a little bit more purple. But I don't want this to be soggy. Let's put just a little bit more purple. And then I'll roll it up. This will migrate and blend a lot when I microwave it. So you're not going to be exactly sure of what you're getting. A little extra red there. Now I'm going to fold this over and roll it up. You can see it went through. I can mush it a little bit. Roll it up nice and tight and fold the ends. You can twist them or fold them over. Then I'm going to coil this. Put it in a microwave dish and nuke it for about 5 minutes. Here's my Pyrex dish. And you can see there's a lot more color on that side of the roving. So I'm going to put the roving in with more of the color up so that it will drain on through while it cooks. And I'm going to open it up a little bit to allow the heat to get through it. I say I'm going to do about 5 minutes, then we'll see if it's ready. The roving has come out of the microwave and it's still very hot. I want to turn it over and see if the dye has been absorbed, and it looks like it has. This definitely needs to cool before I do anything else with it, so it's just going to sit here. Because it's in the plastic, it'll take it a little longer to cool off than the fibers that I dyed without wrapping them in plastic. I very carefully opened the plastic just a little bit to hurry the cooling along. While I've done this roving with Koolaid, you can just as easily do it with food colors or Wilton food colors. You can also use chemical dyes, but if you use chemical dyes, it's a little bit different and you have to be very careful. You need special dishes, gloves, and masks to prevent breathing the dye. That's why I like Koolaid and food color so much. The roving is cooled. I'm going to squeeze out the excess water, and you can see the water is clear, which means all the dye has been soaked up. That's a very good thing. I'm still going to rinse this a little bit. This definitely smells like Koolaid and vinegar. Again, supporting the fiber. I'm going to squeeze it. I don't want to wring or twist. I'm not even going to blot this because I've got 90-degree Arizona sunshine. So I'm going to go out and lay this in the sun. You can see this is still pretty dripping, but that's all right. It's going to dry fast enough. This is my chaise lounge, my favorite drying place. And in a couple hours, it will be ready to spin.